With type 1 diabetes, did you ever get mad at normal kids for having something that you had to work so hard for? Would you do type 1 diabetes again?
There's Christians who take their own lives. Addiction, alcoholism, it's a disease in the brain.
The suicide rates, the marriage rates, and I think that you can diagnose the health of America.
It's just been so normalized.
I think the medical system now is in such a bad state.
Terrible. We need to tell people our age, like, it's time to wake up. Everyone's a victim, bro. Yeah.
What happened to all of the good men dying in wars? I miss that.
The one breakup that changes your life is probably one of the best things for you.
Call your grandma.
I don't think people realized World War III started a long time ago.
Oh.
And World War III is the war for your mind.
We look at Shia LaBeouf. Everybody says that he's crazy. Giuliano Massarelli. Op talks, bro.
Op talks.
Op talks. I don't want to be like, what's up, guys?
Welcome
All right, we'll just start it right here. I'm with Carson Warner, good friend
What's
of mine,
up?
best chair stacker in OC. Did you start off in Christianity? Like, were you born into it? How did it like from like start to where you are now?
Yeah.
What did it look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so I was born into it, but I realized that I was born into a false version of it. To be honest, to be frank, like, Jesus was misrepresented to me as a child, and so was like faith. Like I thought I could just get away with everything and still have this relationship with the Lord, and I realized as I got older, like I'd always gone to these, I went to like Hume Lake. I don't know if you've know friends who've been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to Hume like 2 years, and that's when God kind of got a hold of my heart. And then I just realized, like, okay, I can't sin constantly and have this relationship with God and have this security in eternity. Like, I have to do my best to just follow him in everything. But I never knew that growing up, I thought it was just like kind of a confession of your mouth, rather than a portrayal of your life. Is a good way to say it, I think.
Yeah. I guess I kind of, like, starting out, I kind of looked at it like taxes or something, and like I was like writing stuff off.
It's
and
like
trying
paying
to
my
avoid
dues.
Yeah, just paying my dues.
Yeah.
And like it was something that was almost bad in a sense. I was like, I'm going to avoid getting punished. I'm going to avoid my, like, the thing that I deserve. And then once I realized the only way I can avoid what I deserve is through accepting the person who took what I deserve. It doesn't just go away. My sin doesn't just go away. The problems I did, all of the hurt that I caused to this person or that person, the butterfly effect where I messed with this one kid and then he ended up hurting somebody else. All of that doesn't go away unless I actively choose Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen it go away.
Yeah.
And like, I think one thing about you is I've never seen somebody actively choose to be so happy. And I think that your story specifically with type 1 diabetes is kind of incredible. And anybody who has type 1 diabetes, do you want to talk on that?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm coming up on 10 years since diagnosis, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But first of all, I do want to say, like, for anyone who is watching, who doesn't know anything about type 1 is, type 1, it doesn't come from like eating wrong or all these false habits. Like, it just happens, it's part of my gene pool. I'm the first one to have it though, which is crazy. But dude, that journey has been, I've had to really choose happiness a lot and like following Jesus, because there's times, dude, where it's like, oh, dude, like, you just get in this dark spot, you get depressed, even suicidal. Like, why did this happen to me?
Yeah.
And that's such a pivotal time, dude, for anyone going through a hard time. Excuse me. But you can choose to be a victim of your circumstances.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to embrace it and keep moving forward.
What was that like when you went to the doctors, I assume?
Dude, it was crazy.
And you got diagnosed.
I don't know if I even told you this. Dude, my dad was an alcoholic. like extreme. My parents were separated for almost 2 years. Like my dad wasn't in the picture most of my childhood because he was always hammered or he wasn't around. But my parents stayed married. So my mom, she was a prayer warrior and
Just
like,
absolutely
yeah,
prayed up.
yeah. And this is where,
I get that off of her. She's definitely put in her hours. So.
dude, yes, bro. Like I would walk into her closet and she'd be on her knees and there would be scriptures everywhere, just like sticky notes. And she didn't even say anything. She'd just be like weeping and praying. And so, I didn't really have like kind of what we were talking about earlier. I didn't really have that father, and then in the midst of that, to get to what you were saying, I was like throwing up. I was getting super sick. I lost like 15 pounds. My mom's like, "Oh, this is puberty."
How old were you?
I was 12, or I was 11 turning 12. Yeah. So, we went to the doctors for just imagine this. You go for your regular checkup, right?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm just sick. Like I got something, the stomach flu for the past couple months, and they made me pee in this cup because they were gonna run some tests, and they bring back like the results, and the physician, he goes, "Okay, you guys need to go to the hospital right now because I think your son is type 1 diabetic." I don't even know what that means, bro. And so I'm like crying, I'm bawling. Didn't realize how much this would change my life. And, my mom's driving me there and we're both crying because we don't know what's going on. And I'm just an 11-year-old kid, like, what's happening to me? Mm. And we get to the hospital, bro, and I'm there for 4 days. And, I had to learn how to count every single carb I eat, hopping on like 7-8 shots a day, and it was a crazy time.
Yeah.
But the beginning of that, dude, the first 5 years, I mean, it's still hard. I got to make choices every day. I got to make over 100 medical decisions a day. What I'm going to eat, how much I'm going to eat, like this amount of carbs, everything, right? But I just want to encourage anyone, because, dude, people grow weary, especially people who aren't Christians. Like, they have all these other things, sobriety, the gym, like new age spiritualism, all these things. Dude, you will get to a place where that will fail you.
Yeah.
Or you succeed in it, but you're still empty.
Yeah.
There's still an emptiness, And I've just learned to accept, like, this is my life,
With type 1 diabetes, did you ever get mad at normal kids for having something that you had to work so hard for?
Yeah, honestly, I did. But I think more so than anger, what I really was like envious and jealous. Just like, and it's because I had a taste of being normal. The first 11 years of my life were normal, So I already knew what it was like. And then that happened to me and I was like, wow, I have to account for literally everything I put in my body. And it can make or break my life,
You could die.
My fertility, all these things, cancers, like tons of stuff, seizures, neuropathy, loss of a limb, like all these things, And so I've learned discipline through that too,
Yeah.
Because if I don't take care of myself, I'm going to be sick and I can't show up for people in my life. I can't show up for work. I can't act like a normal human being.
Yeah, no, dude, that to hear that somebody is over there struggling with something that, like, dude, I'll just eat it, whatever.
Yeah.
Go on with my life.
Yeah.
But some people complain about like stomach aches.
Yeah.
Some people complain about like, I get migraines or whatever. But imagine having to do a shot every single time you eat food.
Yeah. I think more than anything, what it's really taught me, you get over the victim stuff and you get over like, look at what I have to do. Dude, you start to have compassion for people and what they're going through.
How
if it's
possible?
Even if it's mental, you know what I mean? Like, let's say somebody has mental issues, not like special needs, but like just mental illness. Like, you have compassion for all capacity of people, whether it's like a physical sickness or a mental illness, all these things, because you have been there. you know?
Hmm.
And a lot of people, they don't just, you're not just, some people are, but you're not just built with compassion.
Yeah.
Unless you've been through it, or you're just a select few. And it's possible, dude, because I've been through it. It's possible because have put blood, sweat, tears into this. Like, and those people who are going through things and you have compassion for them, dude, it really opens up doors to form relationships. And like, you never know. You hear those stories about people who were planning to commit suicide, right? And they had that one interaction that day that changed their life right before.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds heavy, but it is reality for some people. And I think about that, to be honest, you know, in other people because I've been there. So it's super important to, no matter what you're going through, like, it's selfish. It's selfish to only think about yourself in those circumstances.
But dude, sometimes I see that moment of suicide, that moment of wanting to throw away your life. And this doesn't have to be like a full doom and gloom podcast, because it really looks upward from here. That moment of suicide, and that moment is like, I'm fully in the hands of the devil. The devil has won against me, in my opinion, thinking that God won't show me a way out of it. Like, they asked, why wouldn't Judas be ultimately saved? You know, at the end of the day, why wouldn't he achieve salvation after committing suicide? And I think it's because he wasn't able to accept that Jesus could even get him out of probably one of the worst things that you could do at that moment, turn him over to the Pharisees, get him killed, because it's all a part of God's plan. The worst thing you could possibly do ended up being the greatest thing for humanity.
What do you mean?
Like, Judas turning him over to the Pharisees, God turned it into the greatest thing that has ever happened to you or I, because we're able to achieve salvation.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, when it comes to, like, dude, when I was at CBI, Calvary Bible Institute, that is, we talked about, like, suicide. You know, what does it look like for a suicide salvation? Is that possible? And truthfully, we don't know what the end of somebody's life looks like. Like, we have no idea what their last words are, if they're speaking to God, if they're not. Because it's hard to say, dude. There's Christians who take their own lives, you know, and there's Christians who want to be with the Lord early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt that before. But I knew I couldn't take my own life because I knew God still wanted to do something.
What do you think God wants to do with your life?
And that's the thing is, like, you know, I don't know. And people always tell me, I'm like, guys, I'm just praying about this. Like, why doesn't God just show me? And they're like, if God showed you everything right now, you would crap your pants, you know, and you wouldn't be able to do it. And so I don't know, dude, like, he wants to glorify himself through me.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
So I sometimes feel like when I pray, like, God, please just show me something.
Yeah.
It's like radio silence. And I think the reason why it goes radio silence is because he wants me to be alone and to think about what I should be. You know, sometimes we pray for wisdom and we're met with challenges and all these trials. Now I have a question for you. If you look at all of your gifts, and I know you have gifts. Don't be like, oh, I'm not gifted. Don't be that humble guy. What would those gifts equate to? Like, if you were to throw all those ingredients in, what would you think that cake would come out looking as?
I've never even thought about that, to be honest.
I can name a few gifts. I think that you're very talented with speech. I think that you're naturally, like, you lighten up a room completely. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And, you know, obviously, no, like, we don't take pride in those gifts because those were given to us. They're gifts.
They're spiritual gifts.
But to get back to the question, like, dude, I think it has something to do with people.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I think it has something to do with people, whether that's through type 1 diabetes, like helping people, or I don't know how it looks. I just know, dude, like, I enjoy talking to people and helping them, especially when they're going through a hard time.
Yeah.
Because it takes my eyes off my own stuff. And not like in a selfish way.
No.
I'm just like, wow, there's actually other people out here who are fighting.
Yeah.
And they need help. I need help. They need help. And dude, the return of that, when you help someone, that's the high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You mind if I tell you something?
Yeah. Or no.
I have a similar story. I've kind of told it on the podcast, but it was in like an old episode. So I had a similar moment in my life where I was diagnosed with growth hormone deficiency.
Yeah.
And
which I recently just found that out.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically what that is, for anybody who doesn't know, your brain for some reason just won't produce growth hormone. And I was told this at a young age. I was always kind of a bigger kid when I was super young. And then middle school rolls around. And I see everybody just kind of blowing past me. And I was playing baseball. Baseball was one of my favorite things in the whole entire world. And I played baseball. I played baseball. I noticed all the kids were growing way bigger, way stronger. I wasn't able to compete with them. And then I kept on going through bone break after bone break. You know, these nasty breaks. I ruptured my nasal passage, had to get like my orbital bone and my nose kind of fixed up. Fingers, just tons of stuff. And I noticed this, and so we go into the doctor. And we're like, listen, he's just not growing. I was getting ridiculed, because I'm the loudest one in the room, every single room I'm in. And I'm like always making jokes and stuff. And then I realized I started getting just ridiculed for being short, always. And so I go into like maybe people wouldn't make fun of you for type 1 diabetes, but like it was getting so bad that like I became so lost. Like I fully wouldn't want to speak. I wouldn't want to talk to anybody. Imagine me quiet,
Yeah, I can't.
Imagine maybe 4 or 5 years of my life where I'm just radio silence. I'm just not there. And so we go into the doctor. I am doing all these blood tests, MRIs. We can't find anything wrong with him. And then finally somebody suggests maybe he has growth hormone deficiency. And I was like, guys, just put me on the medicine. I don't care if it's experimental. I don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
And
I'm desperate.
I was like, I just want to live a normal life because people don't talk about it. Yeah. I've been short. I'm now like 5'11", but like being like almost borderline midget. I was going to be classified as a midget. I was going to be like 5'0" to 5'2".
That's crazy.
That was going to be my life. And everybody's like, oh, height doesn't matter, but be there. It really sucks. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, just put me on the pills. And the doctor goes, man, I hate to break it to you. It's not pills, it's shots. And I hate shots. Mm-hmm. And so day in and day out, I was doing these shots. And it felt like, what I learned from that was that the importance of one repeated over and over again. The importance of choosing something every single day. So it'd be in the morning, at the night. And it started off like I'd be sitting here, and I know you know this feeling where you're shaking so bad and you're dragging the needle along your skin, and then you finally just shove it in because you've been sitting there crying for 2 hours, sobbing so bad that you want to throw up.
Yeah.
And then like 5 years go by. And so it taught me the importance of doing something over and over again. They tell you it's insanity.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over and over
expecting a different result.
Exactly. But I did it over and over and over again. And so the difference between one day and a week meant nothing. The difference between 1 week and a month meant nothing.
Wow.
But once I went to 5 years of doing it, 1,500 shots, that's when it meant something. And it was impactful.
So it was 5 years of doing this. 3 times a day?
No. It was like the shots went from like a huge like vial, and they kept on shrinking down.
Okay.
But it was just one time a day. But you'd be sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be injecting for 10 seconds.
Dang.
You'd be spinning it around, and it'd be put in, like, you'd have a big old knot in your leg.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And eventually there came out some medicine that was just once a week, but that was like in the last month of me doing it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you had to go through the hard stuff.
Exactly. But I learned all of this. I started, really bashing on people, really starting to get angry at people.
Yeah.
Especially because you're playing around with hormones and stuff. I really started.
Oh, so you were like
I was
all over the place.
I was all over the place,
Yeah.
emotional wreck. And this is all throughout high school, which are those developmental years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already awkward. I'm already at more of a disadvantage than people. And then so I start using my words to attack. And it became to a point where it was like, I realized, like, do you know the reason why I talk so much? Do you know the reason why? Because I would get in trouble so much at school. The reason why I talk so much and the reason why I'm always the first to attack somebody is because I need you to not look at my problems. The thing that I'd been dealing with for 5 years, constant injections, I can't focus on that. And I feel like you could probably relate to that in a sense with type 1 diabetes. Going and helping out other people. Maybe you did it in a positive way. I did it in a negative way.
Yeah.
Helping out people actually, like, can take away your eyes and your thought process from the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I feel so bad for the kids out there that suffer from cancer, because also I'd be walking through chalk. I know you probably spent a lot of time in chalk.
Yeah, a lot of time in chalk, many years.
Many years. They're great there. But you're walking by all these rooms, and it's kids with shaved heads.
Mm-hmm.
Kids that look literally like skeletons, like, and they have smiles on their face. And yet I'm sitting there crying to go get a blood draw.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there crying to get an operation
Yeah.
for something that's going to change in 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
But then I get to school and I curse the kid who's tall, because I'm like, dude, this tall, handsome dude, he got it all. And so I don't realize that he has his own struggle. And so this gave me a perspective. Like, would you do type 1 diabetes again?
Yeah, I've actually thought about that a lot. And the truth is, like, yeah, because this is my life, and this is what's helped shape me. There's a passage of scripture, I don't remember specifically, but it's Paul, and he's talking about, he prayed 3 times that the Lord would, like, take away this infirmity that he had, and it was the thorn in his side. And nevertheless, he just continued, right? And it was the love of Christ that compelled him to do all these things, the good things. And so that's kind of like my thorn in my side. I prayed that the Lord would take it away. He didn't. Okay, God, this is how you want to do it. I'm going to submit to it, and let's ride. So the truth is, yeah, I would do that again.
You would do it?
I would. And I mean, dude, they're getting close to a cure. There's like this one girl in like Europe. She's on this like, this medical program, and she's like getting better. Her pancreas has started to work again. And my mom's been like telling me about all this stuff and trying to get me like into it. But
so how does it work?
what, like the healing of it?
No, what is diabetes stem from, for those who don't know?
So it's basically all genetic. There's a difference between this is huge. There's a difference between type 1 and type 2. Big difference. Type 2, in my opinion, based off what I know, is basically you've abused your pancreas for too long. You're treating it terrible, basically meaning you're eating all these things that are very high carb, all over the place, like manufactured sugars, like all this stuff, and your body can't handle it anymore. So the insulin starts producing differently. Whereas type 1, your pancreas just dies and it doesn't spit out any insulin anymore.
And so yours just like miraculously died at 11?
Yeah. I mean,
That's crazy.
there's this thing called the honeymoon phase, and it's like it can last a year, and it's where your pancreas is still shooting out just a little bit
Yeah.
of insulin, and then it dies. So probably closer to like 13 or 14. honestly. But yeah, it's an extreme process because you're taking your insulin to regulate your blood sugar, but then your pancreas still produces a little bit extra. So then you drop, and then it's like, okay, now we got to get it back up. So those first like couple years are hard. But dude, what was the worst thing about it was I like never threw up. You know, I was never throwing up before. That was not my thing. It was gross. I didn't want to. Never felt like I had to. And then I got super sick, and I was just throwing up all the time.
Yeah.
And then that's when my mom took me in and stuff. But that was the worst part, is like this uncontrollable sickness. I couldn't like bend down to tie my shoes because I was so weak physically.
So I got to this point where, and God forgive me for this. There'd be times that I was so upset and I was so like kind of over life and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd get into a part where like my mom would be the only person who shows up for me.
Yeah.
Like my mom was a huge help.
Same.
She said to me, she's like, I'm not going to be able to make it go away, sweetie. I'm not.
Yeah.
I promise you that. But I promise you I will do everything in my power to be at all of your like doctor's appointments.
Mm-hmm.
And she worked at Trader Joe's to pay for the medicine. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, and she worked at Trader Joe's for me to be able to go through all this.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see all that as a kid. And I saw my mom who has like a thyroid problem and stuff.
That's
and
also growth deficiency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And like neurological, like a disease. I think she had Graves' disease. And I heard that was attributed to it. And one time we got in an argument and I was like, Mom, this is your fault. It's your genes.
Dang.
It's your genes that you gave me.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine saying that, or imagine hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, I've said that too, you know, and looking back, I can't imagine what that's like as a parent, but I can relate, you know.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the reason what the doctor said, they just chalked it up to he's under a lot of stress and it was brought out in his genetics. And I'm like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Dad, thanks for being an alcoholic and being absent. And then like, Mom, you're just gone too because you're just praying all the time.
But your dad's good now.
He's good. I mean, dude, my dad has had a crazy transformation. Like he sponsors guys. He helps guys get sober.
That's a real thing too. That's a real disease.
Alcoholism?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. And that's what people don't understand who are struggling from it that need to. You need to educate yourself. Addiction, alcoholism, it's a disease in the brain. You know, it's not, you're choosing, at some point, you're no longer choosing the drink. The drink is keeping you alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like, no, I wouldn't say it's like insulin, but they become dependent on it.
Well, okay, so there's a couple, I don't know specifically, there's a couple drugs you can die from detoxing, getting it out of your system.
Yeah.
You can die from withdrawals. And that is alcohol and like drugs like Xanax.
Yeah. Like opioids.
I don't know about all opioids. I don't know. I have to do research, but I just know Xanax and alcohol specifically.
Yeah.
Because I know people who struggle with that.
Yeah.
But
Same.
you can literally die coming off of it. And so it's like your body needed it to keep you alive.
Yeah.
Because you've replaced it and you've altered your body in a negative way, obviously.
Yeah.
You know.
Huh. So now that we know about like type 1 diabetes, like I see somebody with the patch on the arm.
Right.
Like that's typically diabetes.
Yeah. Like this one right here.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that's some pretty cool jewelry, bro.
Thanks, bro. Yeah,
knowing your story, it's cool. No.
Yeah, you learn to just wear it proud, and like when kids ask you, just tell them you're a robot, and these are your batteries.
I'm a cyborg.
Yeah, I love saying that. But dude, that's really changed the game. The technology has changed the game. Now I don't have to do like 7 shots a day. I just have one in me that lasts 3 days. And
oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yeah, and whenever I need the insulin, it just pumps it in. Obviously, I have to put in it manually, but it pumps it in. So it's changed the game, dude. I don't really. It's so weird. Like I know I need to talk about it more, but I don't like talking about it because it almost feels selfish.
Just know that people don't have to struggle as much as you, and like they could really benefit from hearing something like that.
Yeah, that's true. And also, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, there are cases where people are struggling with more than what you have struggled with. And you can relate in a small way, but you can't fully relate, you know?
I don't think that there's any situation where you're worse off, like in the scheme of your life, from having more context. Like, let's say, even if it's like your girlfriend's cheating on you, like knowing now would help you out like it would obviously hurt, you know, but if I know a lot about your life and I know how to deal with your situations.
Yeah. I hope she's not cheating on me.
No, I'm not saying
no,
she
I
is.
know. I'm just joking.
No, she seems like a sweet girl, bro. I
she's
think you
awesome.
guys are doing good.
Yeah, dude. I definitely love her, and I'm excited just like what God has for us, you know?
Yeah. I love to see like, I'm not going to say you guys are doing it right, but I like to see people at least trying to like move forward in like a godly relationship, doing the steps.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is a way to do it right. And it's what you just described, you know, like if there was a right way to do it, that's how you do it. Right. You know, all these people getting divorced and stuff, like it's like 50% of people.
Yeah, no, get divorced. It's more than that. More than 50%. So we look at, I look at a lot of statistics, the suicide rates, the marriage rates, and I think that you can diagnose the health of America and the people in America very well. And I see that now more than ever, it is easier for you and I to be good men because of how weak we've all been made. Just by all the, like, for lack of a better term, like goy slop that has been just put into us. Like from such a young age, we've been cooked.
Yeah.
We've been cooked. Like especially our older brother's generation was the generation during the opioid epidemic. We have all these young men that are being misdiagnosed with ADHD, being shoved Adderall down their throat, being told, yo, here's these vast new playgrounds called Instagram and Snapchat. You know, you can do whatever you want on it.
It's demonic.
We're getting put in all of these terrible situations, and then now these young men are told, hey, you can't be masculine. Yeah. Hey, you can't be Christian. Hey, you can't, have a passion. You have to be nonchalant all the time.
Yeah.
There's a certain active force that happened to that generation, and then let's say they break their leg. Let's say, they get in a car accident. Then they get a crippling opioid addiction that they can't get off of. Then they have anxiety, so they're given Xanax. And so they're led around. Everybody's making a profit off of them. And I think that generation was the biggest gold mine for big pharma, for the government, because they're all dependent on them.
Yeah.
And it was a good scheme, but I'm not going to let it happen anymore. And I think anybody who's, and I know that you're kind of in this boat, anybody who is thinking about doing some sort of motivation for young men or the youth or for just being around people, I would 100% encourage it because we need it now more than any time.
No, I definitely agree. And I love some of the things that you just brought up because, dude, like, we have to understand it's just been so normalized, and then eventually you're on opioids for this long or you're doing this for this long and you realize it's not working. And then you just get empty and depressed and you want to take your own life or you just have no purpose and you rot. Like, that's exactly what the enemy wants. And people, it's so hard, dude, because people who aren't walking with God don't understand the weapons of warfare. And those weapons is to just isolate you and keep you quiet and silent you and keep you in control, and not have a free mind. And dude, like, I've suffered from that, like depression, anxiety, and like
we all have, bro,
going on pills to get better. But then those pills actually become a prison that's hard to escape. Like I've been off like antidepressants and all that stuff for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And I remember like going through that process of getting off and being on them. They actually make you more suicidal, or they just make you numb. and you don't feel anything. You can't even cry, you know?
Yeah.
And you have these things called brain zaps that happen. You're not thinking correctly. It's altering your brain chemistry. And so we're not, like I said, we're not free thinking because we're so corrupted by the stuff we're putting in our bodies. And yeah, Big Pharma is just collecting off that.
I think the medical system now is in such a bad state.
Terrible.
They don't disclose. Like, go to any restaurant.
Yeah.
Is there any restaurant around that you can go and not see the menu and prices and how much you're going to actually pay until after you eat?
That's a good point.
They're allowed to charge you whatever they want, and nobody in government does it, anything. And also, we have something called lobbyists. And so these lobbyists are almost all Big Pharma people, and they're able to go offer certain amounts of money to politicians to push a agenda.
Okay, I got you.
And nobody thinks it should be like a right thing.
Yeah.
But it is, and it's very normalized.
Yeah.
And so we're in this, I believe, a society that is absolutely insane. And I like to think about all the young men who have never encountered a healthy relationship. Their parents are divorced, then they get out into the dating scene.
Yeah.
And think about the girls that, and I'm going to say this is more controversial than probably anything. I don't think the girls of this generation have been taught how to treat a man. You know, young men are told you got to treat a woman this way by popular culture, but they get in a relationship. And think about how few men hear from a woman, "You're enough right now, and I'll stay with you." That statement is not heard by the general populace of men.
Dude, I can say, like, luckily my girlfriend understands that. She knows that.
I think she's one of the good ones.
I know she's one of the good ones, honestly. I can tell you confidently.
Praise the Lord.
And I definitely agree with you, bro. This generation is cooked, and the only way that we can bounce back is, like, literally, like, anyone watching or anyone we talk to, like, dude, we need to tell people our age, close to our age, like, it's time to wake up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop being a boy. Like, let's lock in. Like, no one cares about, and I hate to say this, like, yes, people care that you're going through things and that you're having issues, but dude, once you become a victim, that's when things change.
Yeah.
That's when you let your guard down and you start taking all these antidepressants and you don't speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the greatest thing that's happened in our generation. The greatest thing that's terrible is everyone's a victim, bro. You know? And, like, you look at all these people on the left and stuff, like, not to get political or anything, but that's their whole basis of argument and peaceful protests is they're victims.
Yeah. No,
You know?
and I think it's also, like, I think they're the same ingredients, just different brands on both sides of the political spectrum.
Oh, totally. Yeah, we have people, like, on the right like that as well, you know?
You know what I think to myself, and I'm going to get passionate here.
Yeah.
What happened to all of the good men dying in wars? I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss that because the good men are dying in their bedroom, alone, surrounded by nothing, told that they mean nothing. That's where good men die. And I think a lot of people were moved by Charlie Kirk dying.
100%.
Because that was the first time in a long time we've seen a good man die for a reasonable cause.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
all of these men choose to die and to, you know, almost kill themselves in a sense. Like, dude, to be honest, I think getting in a unloving relationship with a girlfriend who doesn't treat me right is the same as me killing myself. I think, you know, entering an opioid addiction would be killing myself. I think smoking weed would be killing my ambition, in turn killing myself.
Yeah.
That's how I feel right now. I had a 1-year anniversary podcast, and this young kid, good kid, writes into it saying, like, yeah, me and my girlfriend, we break up. 3 days after, she gets with a guy. You know, then we get back together for several years. And 3 days after, she breaks up with me, gets with a guy. And then now they're in this stage where she's saying, no guy has ever treated me as good as you. No guy has ever been as kind to me as you have. But I want somebody who's older and has more money. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to find somebody who has money, who has the ability to, support me at 19. Not even
That's
giving this
crazy.
guy a
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah.
And he gets back with her.
Yeah.
And so what has it been put into these kids' minds
I don't know.
that they need to do all this?
I don't know, but you're just disrespecting yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Like, we had a conversation on the phone the other day, and we're talking about, like, believing in yourself. Like, you can't have that negative. You can't be in that negativity for that long and expect good things to happen in your life or good to come out of your life.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot go back to what was killing you, even though it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, dude. Breakups, the one breakup that changes your life is probably one of the best things for you.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I went through a situation where me and this girl broke up after a bunch of years, or like a couple years, and dude, it changed my life for the better because I learned how to be uncomfortable and I learned how to walk away from what was comfortable, get in the uncomfortable, and like overcome that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a breakup's a canon event, bro.
It's a canon event.
It's a canon event, and you need to embrace it. You need to embrace it.
Yeah.
Dude, there's this movie. It's called Swingers. And do you know Jon Favreau?
No, I don't.
He's the guy in Iron Man. He's the bodyguard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's a really creative mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes through this breakup. I'll make it short. He goes through this breakup, and he's like, should I call her? Should I call her? Should I call her? And the guy's like, no, don't call her. And he was like, one day, and he's like, well, is she going to call me? And he was like, yeah, maybe one day. And he was like, but listen, you just keep going every single day. Like, I forget exactly what he said, but he said, one day she's going to call you and you're not going to want to answer. Like, you're going to be over it. Keep telling yourself you're over it until you're actually over it. Because, dude, you think about all these days go by and you wake up and you're not thinking about her anymore. And you're not thinking about, like, she calls you and that's just not even what you want anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
What does it say in Matthew chapter 5?
I botched that movie, but...
No, you're good. What does it say in Matthew chapter, I think it's 5 or 6, about seeking the kingdom of heaven?
Oh, yeah.
Seek first the kingdom of heaven.
Matthew 6:33.
Seek first the kingdom of heaven.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you.
That's what I'm saying is a lot of these people are like, bro, I need to marry somebody who has the biggest butt. I need to have the fastest car. You know, I need to have all this stuff. I need to marry somebody who's going to get me to the kingdom of heaven. Not going to lead me away from it. And that chick, I promise you, if you're listening to this, is only going to lead you away. Don't call back your ex, bro. Call your grandma.
Facts.
That's what I'm saying. I call my grandma so much. Like these.
Yeah. Healthy distraction.
Healthy distraction. I'm sitting there in like the worst mindset ever. Call your grandma. Call your grandpa. And also, I think a lot of people don't talk to their grandparents anymore. They don't learn from that.
I think about that a lot, bro. And I'm looking at my grandparents getting old, and I'm just like, I cherish the moments that I do have with them.
Dude, it took me losing 4 grandparents to talk to this last one very, very solidly. And we have such a good relationship. I didn't capitalize on that. And it's so stupid of me to not capitalize on it. Because if you have something in your fridge that's about to expire, what do?
Drink it, eat it.
Drink it and eat it.
Yep.
But I have this wealth of knowledge, this person in my family, this person I love more than anything, and I'm not willing to just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Like, really. And then, like, a lot of people don't realize that your grandparents go through struggles too. They're not just in their little cottage, you know, just making pies all day long. Yeah. They go through struggles. And nobody talks to them. Yeah,
it's actually, dude, you get a lot of wisdom talking to your grandparents.
Yeah.
I've found that too. And what's super cool too is you learn your history about who you are, where you came from, your family. You learn things that you didn't know. And one day you're going to be a grandparent. Like, I mean, we all want to be one day, right? But it's going to be important to carry those things on, you know, like traditions and lineage and family and values and all those things, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I think. I look at, bro, if you look at like Middle Eastern culture more specifically, dude, a lot of these families, they have like a compound. The brothers, the sisters, they're all grown up, you know, 30s, 40s, whatever. They're all married. They live on the same land but have their own houses. and they put their wealth together and they're still all together. Yeah, they still have their privacy and stuff in their own home, but they're living on the same land, you know?
Yeah.
And I look at that and I'm like, dude, why don't we do that in Western culture? Like, what if I lived on a compound with my whole family? We all had our own house, we all had our own yards, everything, and we were all like that close to each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Things would be cheaper, life would be better, we would have all we need. Like, whatever happened to that?
Well, back in the day,
there's division.
What do you think it looks like when Jesus was like, love thy neighbor? Like, your neighbors were probably close relatives.
Yeah. And you have to look at context in that. Like, people forget to look at context.
What's the context?
Context is like loving your neighbor. It was different back then. If you look at like the city of Jerusalem, or more specifically, like when Jesus said that, look at where he was at geographically and how close were people. You know what I mean? And your neighbor's like your next door neighbor, like right to your right or right to your left. And basically, yeah, it rings true to what he says. Like, we're so absorbed in ourselves. We look in the mirror, we do our hair, we do all these things, we take care of ourselves, which is a good thing. But if you love someone else that much that was right next to you, you know, and you took out their trash and without them asking, you did all these things, like, that's the love of God, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, C.S. Lewis has a good line of thought. He says that nobody does anything for the sake of it being bad. And that's like the start of his argument for the moral law that everybody has. Nobody, so you know when you're walking out of Walmart and you see the Red Cross lady, like, you don't want to give her 50 cents. You don't want to give her the leftover change from, you know, buying your toilet paper, but you do. And you're not doing that because you like doing that. You're doing it because it's good.
Yeah.
Nobody does something for the sake of it being bad, though.
I believe that there's people out there that do that.
But they do bad things because it's pleasurable or convenient at the moment.
Yeah. And I think most importantly, it's self-serving.
Well, they do bad things for good reasons.
Yeah. Well,
I would love to debate it.
I mean, I'm not a scholar on the topic, but I guess it requires more thought on my end.
Who do you think does something for the sake of it being bad?
People who are under demonic influence, you know? Like, if you look at some of these big people in Hollywood that sold their souls, and like, for example, The Weeknd.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's all about him, and he knows that, and it's all about his success, his followers, like everything, right? And that's bad. And then he's following his own desires.
But why is he doing that?
Because he wants to, I mean, I don't know, I can't read his mind, but I would think he wants to achieve success, generational wealth.
So success and generational wealth and all the other things you were going to list, are they good things?
I think it matters in context.
In context. So,
because you can have the whole world but lose your soul.
So the devil will lure you with good things and turn something into bad.
Yeah.
But he's not doing it. He's not selling his soul to the devil because it's bad to do it. He's doing it because there's pleasurable things in doing it.
I guess that's a good way to put it. I can't argue that. But what I mean is, I believe that there is literally people, I don't know their names, that are straight pure evil. I believe that.
Like, do you think Epstein?
Yeah, dude, I think that guy's totally just pure evil.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think so too.
And like Alex Jones, when he found the Bohemian Grove and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, those people in there, I believe, were literally pure evil. They're worshiping an idol. They're like publicly, blatantly, and they're proud of it. And like, it's satanic.
Yeah.
Pure evil.
Yeah, the Bohemian Grove story is insane. Alex Jones is like, I swear he's like a time traveler, dude.
Yeah, I love that guy, dude. He always gets me fired up.
Have you heard his speech? Like, I kind of ripped it, saying like, what happened? It's like, he's like, kids are looking up to Justin Bieber. And he's like, what happened to men going around the world? Look at Magellan. This life is teeming with energy.
Yeah.
Bro, Justin Bieber.
Dude, I love when Alex Jones was telling the story of Star Wars. He's like, Senator Palpatine was a little known senator from the planet of Naboo. He finances a war. Like he's talking all political, and it's funny because it's true. But dude, I was thinking about something we were talking about earlier. Like the war on drugs, all these things, the war on becoming a real man, what that looks like, all that stuff. Like, dude, people talk about World War III, all the stuff with Iran right now, everything that's going on. I don't think people realized World War III started a long time ago.
Oh.
And World War III is the war for your mind. Like, think about it, bro. Our minds are focused on everything that's not good. Everything that's a distraction. You got the phone in your pocket. You have access to any video at any time, pornography, all these things, bro. Our minds are no longer in the game. Like, and that's the greatest weapon is a free thinking mind, you know? Like somebody like Kanye or like all these geniuses that we have, that we did have, you know? Elon Musk, he doesn't spend all this time on X or all this time on Instagram every day. Like that guy just works.
Yeah.
And he shows up when it's important, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. All these minds are held captive by consuming.
Yeah. Yeah, by more and more and more. I think you're right. I mean, more specifically, Kanye, I think, is one of the most brilliant like producers in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
And I think there was good intentions behind some of the stuff, and it led him to do bad things.
Yeah.
You know I love his music.
Bro, me too.
But sometimes it's hard to support some of his actions because we see a man that's I really think though that people will be so quick to like criticize him, you know, and stuff, but they don't understand bipolar disorder. They don't understand how bipolar disorder. So we look at two people on the spectrum of bipolar disorder: Gucci Mane and Kanye West. They both have bipolar disorder.
I didn't know that about Gucci.
Yeah, and so Gucci has bipolar disorder, and he denied it his whole entire life. He rejected the medication. And I think that for certain people, medication can be good. Like with bipolar disorder, it's basically like borrowing.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope because some people also get, you know, really fat off of it. They get really depressed. They can't feel anything. So it's a slippery slope. But Gucci Mane's wife does a good job with it. Like when he's having these manic episodes, when he's freaking out, she has a lock on his phone, locks all of his Instagram, you know, and stuff.
That's great accountability.
And she's an example of a woman who's willing to show up and work for this man, just like how he works for her.
And not take advantage of his vulnerability.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's willing to protect him from himself.
Yeah.
A woman that's willing to stand up for like to you in those moments, that's a 1 in a million. He's blessed. And some people say she's controlling or whatever. To be bipolar, it's like borrowing from 1 week. Like you'll have all these highs and then lows. And so we see that with Kanye West.
Yeah.
And understanding like some people are just like, oh, he's just so. But you wouldn't, like if somebody was freaking out at your church service, you know, in the middle of a sermon, that because they're mentally ill, you would pray for them. But we're not willing to give that same respect to somebody who has had traumatic brain injury, has had all these terrible things happen to him. His mother killed in a nasty liposuction incident. Like it's terrible what has happened to him. We look at Shia LaBeouf. Everybody says that he's crazy. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I just watched his interview with that, but to know like, bro, he went from absolute poverty, disgusting father, you know, massively alcoholic, then to being the most famous kid in the whole entire world. It's like, how do you expect the guy to end up? We did this to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's super important, just what you said. Like, you can't... I mean, I'm guilty of this too, you know? We talk about, like the video that you showed me when you got on the flight and, like, you're the first one to judge.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same notion. Like, we don't actually know what this person is going through. We don't actually know their life. And that position of grace and, like, prayer is the best place you could be because you really don't know, dude. There's things that you do that you would be judged for by others, and you would want people to pray for you.
There's things that
You know?
that person does. See, I think we're all selective sinners. I think that we all choose sins that we're okay with and then choose others that we're not okay
True.
with. A lot of people get, super mad at like addicts or whatever, but then they're being prideful and judgmental of that addict. And it's like Jesus really hits on this note when he's talking about first take the log out of your eye before you take the speck out of your brother's.
Yeah.
It's understanding that in this life, I can only control myself.
Yeah. And it's also understanding I have so much going on that I need to work on. Who am I to look at you and tell you to fix that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
We should be trying to be here for each other in this violent struggle that we call life.
Yeah. Dude, I love camaraderie. Like, have you ever experienced that?
Yeah.
It's like being in the mud.
Let me try to go to a spot. Tell me a spot that you've been at where like camaraderie was there.
Dude, CBI, Calvary Bible Institute, the place I was just at, or like a soccer team growing up, small things like that. But dude, you're in a hard time together and you're navigating it and you're not alone. And it's so awesome because you have one another to keep going, and it actually makes you stronger. And you have these people that you trust and rely on, and they experienced it with you. And there's like this resilience that gets built and this relationship that forms. And I think about that all the time. I'm like, dude, we're all people in this world. Why can't we lift one another up when we're in the mud, be in the mud together, and like have that,
Yeah. So
like, look at the disciples, bro.
Yeah.
They had camaraderie for sure.
I just noticed that we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Camera didn't die or anything, but dude, what's next for you?
Yeah. We kind of just had this conversation, but dude, like, I don't know, to be honest with you. For me, it's one step at a time. As you know, I'm doing life insurance right now. I'm trying to make some money. I'm not Giuliano Massarelli.
Hello, this is Giuliano Massarelli.
But I'm trying to get there. But dude, honestly, like, here's my goal in life and like what's next. Dude, what I want to do is I want to marry my girlfriend. I want to make some bread. I want to be successful, and I want to glorify God with it. I don't know, like, I want to do ministry. I know I'm going to do ministry at some point. But dude, that ministry looks different for everyone. And for me, I think it could be like my goal one day. I want to be able to help like donate money and help ministries survive and help them be born, I want to be able to just like, if I'm out like eating dinner with my family or something, like I want to be able to tip a waitress $500. You know what I mean? Like, I want to bless people. That's what I want to do. I want to bless people. If you look at all these people, all these creators, Kanye, bro, what did he do? He blessed people with his music. I want to bless people in a different way.
With money?
Either money, prayer, whatever. But like, I'm
Do
telling you,
think your words are more valuable than money?
Yeah, I would say so.
Do you think your time is more valuable than money?
Yeah, your time, obviously, your time is your most valuable asset because you can never get it back.
Yeah.
If you lose $500 gambling, which is a stupid idea, you can always make that money back. Right? But the time that you spent sitting at that table, you can't.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you have. I hope that everything works out. Do you mind praying us out?
Dude, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, God, we're just thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for my brother Harlan and just what he's trying to do with this podcast and just communicating with people. God, I just pray for anyone listening or anyone out there, Lord, that you would lift up their countenance, Lord, and that you would just wake people up, Lord. I pray that your Holy Spirit would just flow upon the United States, just all the world, Lord, especially in dire straits, God, just countries going through tough times, all these things, the wars that we're fighting today that are with our minds, God, just be with everyone and draw them close to you. So, Lord, just thankful to be here. And in your name I pray this. In Jesus' name, amen.
Bro, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you, man.
Yes, bro.
Happy to be here.
For anybody who's listening, don't just listen, be a part of it. We got 909-784-5119. That's the hotline. Thank you so much. God bless.